Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephen Thomas. In this video, we're going to take a look at setting up Azure Logic Apps Standard step by step inside of VS Code. By doing this, you can run your Logic Apps Standard locally and not have to host them in Azure. I did a video similar to this over a year ago, and this video will show you how much more streamlined and simplified the process has become since then. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step, so no prior experience is needed. Let's jump in and get started setting up Azure Logic App Standard inside of VS Code in our local environment.
Now let's get started setting up our local environment inside VS Code so that we can run Logic App Standard locally. What you see here is a task list. I've created a task list of the 4 items we need to accomplish to get everything set up. I'm going to walk through these one at a time. Now step 1, 2, and 3 are simply downloading and installing components. I've went ahead and pre-downloaded and installed these components already, but let's take a look at what they look like so you're familiar when you go to download them yourself. Something else that I should point out is that getting up and running with Logic App Standard locally is more of an art than a science. I find every time I go through this exact same demo, something different is going to happen. That is because there's so many different interconnected extensions in order to run Logic Apps locally that it's a pretty complex setup in order to get everything to run correctly. So if you run into an unexpected error here or there, I would just suggest shutting down VS Code, opening it up again, and start back where you were before. With that, let's take a look at what these components look like when we download them. The first thing you see here is Get for Windows. Now, this isn't necessarily required to run Logic App Standard locally, but later on, if you want to check in anything into your Git repository, you're going to need this installed locally. You simply click on the download link for Windows, assuming you're running Windows, and click here to download the latest edition of Git for Windows. You simply next through the screens, and then you'll have that installed locally. Next is VS Code. While it might seem simple to just download VS Code, there's actually 2 different types of installers, and they vary pretty drastically. If you see down here, there's a user installer, and then there's a system installer. The user installer is for anybody not running as a local administrator, and the system installer is for anybody that is running as an administrator. Now you're going to run into all kinds of pop-ups and issues if you install the wrong version. So make sure you know what your permissions are before you install VS Code. Now, why they didn't put system installer on one line, I don't know. I think they really need to resize this table because I personally find this a little bit confusing. But since in this environment, it's a brand new VM that I've created in Azure, I'm running as a local administrator, I installed the system installer edition of VS Code. Next, we need to download .NET components. The latest edition is .NET 9. I know some extensions will require .NET 9, so I went ahead and installed .NET 9. Some components inside of Standard Edition Logic Apps need .NET 8, so I also went ahead and installed .NET 8 of the framework. Installing both of these seemed to be the best approach when setting this up locally. Now that we have all our components installed, let's take a look at how we set up VS Code. I'm now going to jump over to VS Code. Now I'm inside VS Code for the first time. You could walk through here and configure everything for your liking. I simply chose Light Modern as a skin for this demo. Something else I should point out here is that VS Code doesn't automatically save anything. So one thing you might find when you're working through things here is you might want to adjust the autosave settings. You can do that by adjusting settings on this bottom left-hand gear icon, and this will be all the settings for VS Code. Something else to keep in mind is if you have prior experience with Visual Studio, which is Microsoft's, I would say, enterprise development environment, that this won't necessarily transfer very well to VS Code. VS Code is a very free-formed and open editor and does a lot of things differently. Pretty much everything is ran through a terminal via a command line, unlike Visual Studio, where you would right-click and build, for example. So let's get started with installing the extensions we need to run Logic App Standard. I can do that over here by selecting Extensions from the left menu. And the first thing I want to do is install my Azure account extension. Do a search for Azure, and I could either click Install here in the left menu, or I could select Install in the main pane. I'm just going to select install here. And you can see some dependent components were installed as well. So Azure Resources was also installed as well. Next, I want to look for Logic App Standard. I'm going to search for Logic Apps. And you can see here there's two types. Let's take a look at consumption. Over here, you see the date. The last update of this extension was well over a year ago, back in 2003. And let's compare that to Logic App Standard, which was updated today. I'm actually recording this on 11/15. So there's a very new, fresh edition of this extension. That should give you a very good insight into which Logic App version I would focus my development effort on. So we're going to focus on Logic App Standard, and I'm going to click Install. While this is installing, it's going to go ahead and install all the dependent components for me. This is a drastically different experience than what we saw a year ago, where we had to install all of these other dependent components manually. Now, this installation process is going to take about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll jump back when that is complete and show you what it looks like so you know when you're done. Now, this editor will let you go do other things while this is downloading, but I would suggest simply waiting here and give it some time to make sure everything gets set up correctly. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, that's finished installing now. The best way I found to determine when it's done installing, look for this dash channel 8 at the end, and this signifies one of the last components that is installed during the setup process. Now, just to make sure everything's running good, I'm going to close VS Code and open it again. I'll likely have to do this 1 or 2 other times throughout the course of the demo, and I haven't necessarily figured out why, but it just seems to get everything to work a lot better. Now, if you look down here on the right, you'll see a lot of notification windows popping up. And this is just different components of the extension looking for various artifacts. You'll get this pop-up, or you may get a pop-up about Azure Functions tools. I'm just going to say don't warn me again, because I don't want to have to worry about updating that at this point. Now, that's all we need to do to get up and running and building Logic App Standard in our local environment. So let's take it one step further and let's actually go and build our first Logic app. And we're going to build a Logic app that has custom .NET 8 code associated with it, because that is something that's pretty useful down the road. So to get started building a component, a Logic app, we click on the Azure icon over here in the left tooltip menu. And on this top toolbar here, we click the Logic app icon. Here we can go create new Logic app workspace. And I'm going to create a new folder on my C drive and put it here and call this live demo. Just naming the workspace. And here you can select just a Logic app project, which is going to be just your workflows, Logic app with custom code, which we're going to do, or a rules engine project. So for now, custom code. You have .NET Framework, which would be a 4.7, which would be legacy like BizTalk conversions. Would probably use that approach. We're going to do .NET 8. I'm going to give it a function name and a namespace. And here it's going to pre-populate a workflow for me, and that workflow is going to call sample code that it's going to create for me in the functions project. So I'm going to create a stateful workflow and call this live demo. Going to open in current window and say yes. And just like that, we see our workspace with our functions and our Logic app. You will get some pop-ups about network access. If this is your first time running it, I'm going to say allow. Also look for this allow parameterization of connections. You want to click yes to that down in this bottom right menu. If you miss it here, it's going to pop up a bunch of other times. So just make sure you catch it one of those times. And this is just saying it's starting the designer. Let's take a quick look at what we have here. We have a functions project. It's asking me to install C# development tools. I don't care about that right now. And this is just pre-built boilerplate code to call this functions project. I'm just going to set a breakpoint here so we can see what this looks like later on. Can come over here and it created a workflow for me. I can go to Open Designer and we can take a look at what the pre-built workflow looks like. And this is just a simple HTTP request response. And here you can see it's going to call my local function. This is red because I haven't built the components yet. So while it's set up to reference it, there's nothing there for it to reference. I'm going to close this real quick and let's build this component. I'm going to go to terminal, new terminal for functions project. And I'm going to do .NET restore. And when that's done, .NET build. Now the build process here will build the components and move the required DLLs and metadata into our Logic Apps project. So it does a lot more than just build a DLL. It makes it so the Logic Apps know how to interpret that function. Now functions can also have complex types. If you see here, there is a complex weather object that's returned from this function. So you're going to get full IntelliSense support for that when you're working in your Logic app. Now that is completed building, and let's jump back into our designer again. And it'll take it just a moment to open. And this time in the designer, you see that it's no longer red. We can now find and access our function. If I had more than one function in that project, you would get a drop down here. I could select the correct one. And let's just set a different zip code here, 90210. Okay. Now let's take a look at how we would run this locally. Again, I'm not connected to Azure at all, so all this is running locally. None of these connectors here are Microsoft managed connectors. If they were, I would have to be connected to my Azure account in order to create those connectors and make that connection call. But everything here is going to run locally in this process. So let's take a look at how we would start this process. I come over here to run in debug, and you want to attach to your Logic App project at first. And I'm going to start this using the green arrow up here. Now, this is where I said we need to restart again. I always get this error here about the local storage emulator not being set up correctly. Just hit cancel out of that. We're going to close, reopen VS Code. Now, likely when you're doing this, you won't have this problem. Again, like I said, it's an art, not a science. So just now I got to close all my little tool tips over here again. And now I do have to actually come in here and restore and rebuild again. But it went a lot quicker this time. Come back here, do the same thing again. This time it's already selected, attached to my Logic app. Hit the green icon on that. So in addition to attaching to the Logic app project, I have to also attach to the functions project. I can do that going view, command palette, and type in debug. And I want to select attach to a .NET 5 Plus or core process. And it's going to be this first one, this .NET EXE that has the Logic app function core tool component in it. Simply select that. And you can see here that now under my breakpoints, we see the breakpoint that I've created inside that function. So let's go ahead and run this. I can go back to this top Explorer icon, come down to my workflow, right click, go to overview. This is going to give you a nice overview page for that workflow, and I can run it right here. I could also call this function if I wanted to using something like Postman. If I wanted to call it locally, I'm going to simply run trigger, and this is going to execute that workflow. And you can see here it jumped right in to this function, just like I would in any other C# component that I would build. I'm going to go ahead and just run this, have it complete. And jump back to overview, and sure enough, that execution completed successfully. And I can dive into this execution, and you can see here step by step all the components that were processed during this execution of that workflow. And I'd be able to dive in here and see all the details of that execution. One thing I should note is you see here, remember I changed the zip code, but what did I forget to do? I forgot to explicitly save the workflow. So that save wasn't committed. So that's one thing to definitely keep in mind. And you'll definitely run into this if you're new to working with VS Code. Again, let's come down here under settings, and I just search for save, and you can change your autosave settings here. Autosave is off. You could set it to on focus change, generally what I set it to. No need to save, simply exit out of that. And it's that simple to get set up locally with VS Code to run your Logic App standard in your local environment. If this has been helpful, please post a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.